there, and welcome to the Animag podcast.
Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to Animag, the #1 podcast under the moon, baby. I'm your host, Asylum, sitting here with
Domicus, the #1 simp from Mami.
Dude, oh my god. This is the second time this guy has claimed that title in the intro.
Hey.
Although, I will say, this episode, she really did a lot.
Yeah, she did. And it's like, holy shit. Once we get to that certain part of the episode, it got me like making reactions like, oh shit!
Yeah, there's some moments that just had me sitting there with my hand just over my mouth in complete shock.
Holy shit.
And I love it. I don't love, I think I might rate this episode a little lower than most people might think I will, but it does kind of get bumped up a little bit for what's to come from this episode if they write it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. We'll have to talk it out because I'm sitting at a pretty average rating right now. And before we fully dive in, I gotta make this a disclaimer. If this podcast sounds weird, it's because I decided to pull the trigger and start recording on my new setup since old Thomicus and I recorded a updates episode over the weekend, and it kind of sounded good using this mic, so I'm doing it, and if it fucks off, we are not redoing this podcast. You're just gonna get a shitty version uploaded, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, we already had to fucking redo
exactly.
A podcast already.
We redid the updates episode, and although I think for that episode it came out better than, the first take, but I don't want to have to do this twice, because then I feel like we lose emotions. So, episode 7, boys and girls. There's a lot before the intro roll on this episode.
Yeah, it's basically Kazuya. Nobody cares about Kazuya.
Okay, so me, you, and Yeze had a discussion about this at work. All three of us are pretty much to a point where we're like, fuck Kazuya at this point.
Yeah, where's the fucking I hate Kazuya fucking chants in chat?
We see y'all hating Mami in the chat. That's fine. We can all hate Mami.
What? Whoa.
I encourage it, as a matter of fact.
I do not encourage that.
Thomicus said he's going to start banning anybody on the site that says they hate Mami.
I can't
That's
do that.
everybody. No, but it's like somebody said in the comments, like, that's how you know she's a really well-written villain. It's because everybody hates her. So she's doing her job correctly.
Yes, and I love it.
You have to appreciate that. So we obviously start by seeing the aftermath of the night before. Kazuya's deathly hungover, okay? And that's the absolute worst feeling on earth. Yes. He claims that he does not remember anything after his 5th bamboo shotty. So that means he lost more than 5 games on purpose to protect Chizuru.
Oh.
He isn't too sure that Chizuru was ever actually at his house. He's kind of thinking it's a dream, but he's also on the ledge saying, man, maybe it was real. And then his phone goes off and he gets an invite to this big group chat, probably something like a Facebook or Twitter group chat from the people that were in that group the night before drinking. And he notices that Chizuru is in it and he freaks the fuck out because this is a personal line directly to her. So note that the only other way he can currently talk to her via text is through the Rent-A-Girlfriend app, and then the company monitors that. So if they start discussing anything that's not Rent-A-Girlfriend, she'll get probably banned from the app or something like that.
Damn.
Yeah, so he's super excited. Now he has a way to communicate with her one-on-one if he chooses to. He goes to add her as a friend from that group chat, and he kind of has his finger hovering over add friend, and then he decides against it because he figures that she would just wind up denying the request anyways. And as his thumb hovers over the add friend button, he says, I can't be too aggressive here, which I think is a smart move on his part. Cause, you seem a little bit desperate if as soon as you get added into the group chat, you just add Chizuru and no one else.
Yeah.
Kind of gives off creepy vibes. So it cuts to him walking around at school. They all had a mandatory class to attend the next day after drinking, which absolutely must have sucked. And he runs into the gang from the night before, and they call him Green Man, and they're saying how he looks more blue than green, kind of pointing out that he's obviously hungover and looks like dog shit. So he notices that Chizuru's not with the girls. He asks about her, and they say, oh, Chizuru just wanted to fly solo for the day, claiming that she was still mad that they had invited boys to the pub.
Fucking Kazuya was like, oh shit, she's mad.
She's mad? They don't show too much for the school scene here. It's just them saying that he looks like dog shit, and then them telling him that Chizuru's mad. It has nothing to do with him. I mean, if that's the case, she was mad at her friends. So back at the apartments, that's how short the school scene was. Back at the apartments, he drags himself over to the fridge trying to hydrate. Okay, because remember...
Wait, wasn't he trying to feed his fish?
Oh, yeah, he was. He was like... He was like halfway on the floor just dropping fish pellets into his little... I don't even know what that is. Is that a fish?
No. I seen like a message saying, don't forget to feed me or something like that. And he turns out, I guess he didn't feed the fish. He was about to, but he missed.
I don't even know what the fuck that thing is. To me, it looks like a salamander because I think it has hands and feet. So he gets back home, he feeds his fish, and he drags himself to the fridge. He's that hungover. He's got to hydrate. And he probably doesn't remember this, but Chizuru told him the night before that hydration was key to overcoming a hangover. He opens the fridge to see a bottle of juice with a message on it saying drunkard. I don't know what the fuck that means, but I can assume she's just calling him a drunk ass. You know, just trying to be funny. Left a cute little message on his bottle of juice. Needless to say, he realizes that Chizuru was the one who left this for him, and he falls over in his kitchen with a blanket just over his shoulders. He's all confused because he really doesn't know what the truth is. Did Chizuru help him the night before, or didn't she? We know that she did, obviously. Then, this part was interesting to me, a little character development for Chizuru. Then we see Chizuru in her apartment next door, looking at her phone with Kazuya's profile page from the group chat open, and she was looking at the add friend button, and then she sighs and kind of like puts her phone down, and then boom, intro roll. Not only was this guy thinking about adding her, she was thinking about adding him.
Oh shit.
So that's telltale signs that she is starting to like his ass.
Yeah. Move on.
All right,
it's about to get interesting.
Calm it down, because this is where the episode pops off. All of that stuff was kind of just closure for last week's episode. This is where it really kicks off. So after the intro, the episode opens with Kazuya and Ruka at work. She's giving this dude the death stare, and when Kazuya finally asks why she's been staring at him, she says, well, don't you have anything to say to me? And he's kind of confused by this. She basically says that it's time he's made up his mind about going out with her for real. And then she's like, surely Chizuru won't get in the way of that, after she probably heard them spend a passionate night together. And Kazuya's like, oh, that turned out okay. She wound up believing that nothing happened. This throws Ruka into her first mini breakdown of the episode, with a couple more to come.
Yeah, she was talking shit on Kazuya. I can't believe that bitch trusted this guy.
Yeah, she's like, she believed you? You're a piece of shit. Just straight up ragging this dude.
But yet she wants to go out with this guy.
Yeah, exactly. But yet she's dick riding this dude every chance she gets. So right at the end of this, Ruka mentions that Kazuya and Chizuru have gotten closer. She says this in her head. So not only are we as the viewers seeing this, but some of the cast is starting to see it also. That, you know, obviously Kazuya's head over heels for Chizuru, but she's noticing that both of them together are starting to, you know, get a little bit closer than just rental boyfriend and rental girlfriend. And then they're interrupted, okay? Mami walks into the building. Obviously, at this point, Kazuya is shitting his pants because Ruka just finished going off on him about Chizuru, and now she's about to see Mami. So he plays it off. He's like, oh, so you do solo karaoke often? To which she replies, oh no, I'm here to study. We learn a little bit later on that Kazuya's friend, the weird one from the episode before, is the one who told Mami where Kazuya was working. I'll explain this a little later when we get to the flashback scene, but keep that in mind. And then she's like, so I was in the area and I decided to drop by and mess with you. And then she's like, just kidding. Already being kind of fucking weird. She knows exactly what she's doing. Okay? She's not, well, she is there to just fuck with him, but she even mentions that she has been to this place before, and she says it was just with a friend. Kazuya in his head is like, I know that, but I can't tell her I know that. This was from back in season 1 when Mami and Chizuru went to that place to have a talk. I don't know if you guys remember remember that. And they do kind of show it a little bit for a small flashback in Kazuya's head. But he doesn't mention this to her. Looking on from a distance was Ruka. She asks Kazuya if he knows this girl. And he's like, oh, this is just a girl that goes to the same college as me. But Ruka notices how much they're talking while he's walking Mami to her room. This makes her a little mad because as much as I don't like Ruka, I will say that she's not really a dumb girl. Okay, so she's starting to slowly put two and two together here. Inside the room, Mami mentions to Kazuya that they've actually done karaoke twice already together. I suppose just to kind of get him thinking about the good old times, you know?
Oh, why couldn't it be me? Why couldn't it be me in it, please?
God. Because he does. And he says how back then he was trying to hide the fact that he was nervous to be in a room with Mami. You know, back when he actually liked her ass. The problem here is that Ruka was standing halfway in the door, looking on and kind of listening to all of this. And they notice her. This is where things are gonna get fucking wild, okay? Kazuya starts being super weird because he's nervous that Ruka may have heard too much. And at this point, she does not know that Mami is his ex. So he's like, if something's up, Ruka, we can go and talk outside. And Ruka looks at both of them and she just straight up asks, so what kind of relationship do you two have? And Kazuya freaks because now he knows that she's starting to suspect something. But Mami plays it cool. Mami says, oh, we're just normal classmates, right, Kazuya? And he's like, oh, yeah. So like, thankfully, Mami kind of played it cool there. Mami knows what's up here, I think. Then, instead of letting it all settle, Mami starts with that bullshit. She asks Ruka why she asked. And then she goes, oh, do you like Kazuya? And she calls her Ribbons because she doesn't know her name, but she's like, do you like Kazuya Ribbons? Because Ruka had like a little, you know, barrette made out of ribbons in her hair. I thought that was pretty rude of Mami to just calling her Ribbons instead of calling her by her name. Of course, Ruka starts to reply and she's like, well, we're actually, then Kazuya puts his hands over Ruka's mouth to stop her. And Mami's like, what's all that about? And he goes, oh, our boss banned her from chatting at work. And Ruka starts to wonder why he's doing this. She notices that he's panicking at this point. Then being crazy Ruka, she puts two and two together and realizes that Mami is his ex. And this bitch goes ballistic in her head. She starts narrowing it down that she may actually be in third place compared to Chizuru and Mami, which I do agree with.
Nah, she's in fourth.
I think she's a third right now, but once Sumi starts to get a little more seedy in the season, then Sumi will definitely take that third place spot.
Yes.
I feel like now at this current point, she is third and she realizes that and she finally gets a chance to blurt it out. She's like, we're dating. And then she's like, I know you're his ex and that doesn't matter anymore because he belongs to me now. And she keeps ranting about how she's not important to him anymore and all sorts of other shit. And Mami just kind of sits there, takes the high road. She lets her say it all. Okay. And this was such a fucking G move right here on Mami's part because in retaliation, she just simply says, oh, Kazuya, you have a real girlfriend? So why do you need a rental girlfriend still? Meaning she's a
Damn!
Fucking roasted. Oh my god. And Ruka looks back at him, almost kind of seeming confused, but she is well aware of the Chizuru situation. Then she says to Mami, oh, well that just shows how accepting I am. Like, no girl, you look like a damn fool, okay?
You look like a fool with your pants on the ground.
you know your man's out there renting a girlfriend and you're claiming to be his girlfriend. You just look like a damn idiot, okay?
Yep.
And Kazuya steps in here and he's like, I told you, it's just social research. And then Mami's like, okay, well, I'm sorry. And she pays them and then she leaves. I don't think she was even there to study, okay? She had a motive. And again, when we see the flashback of Mami talking to Kazuya's friend, we're gonna kind of slightly see what that motive might be. And as Mami leaves, Kazuya turns to Ruka and he's like, what the hell was with that outburst? And then she starts crying. She's like, but I am your girlfriend. And she says how she loves him more than anyone else. And for a brief moment, this scene actually did make me a little sad for Ruka, but then I snapped out of it because we can't like Ruka, okay? I just felt a little bad for her because she's batshit crazy, sure, but in her head, she firmly believes that they are dating because Kazuya said they could date, okay? He did agree to this. So he's like leading leading this poor girl on when from the start he should have just said, look, I'm not really interested. I got my sights set on somebody else.
Talking about Ruka is gonna blackmail them if he wouldn't have dated.
I don't know. That's why I snapped out of it.
To be honest, I thought Kazuya was gonna put her down. Whenever he put her in that room, I thought I was like, oh shit, here comes the gun.
Oh, I thought you meant he was gonna dick her down.
No.
At work. So after all of this at the karaoke place, we go to Mami, who's walking away from the building, and she's clearly aggravated by what she has learned. Two guys try to talk to her as she's walking past them, and she's basically like, she smashes her hand on a sign and she's like, piss off. And then she gets on the train, and on the train she's thinking about the interaction, and she calls Ruka a kid and is like, what's wrong with her? Is she out of her mind? And then she starts thinking about seeing the purse that was in Kazuya's apartment from a previous episode. Remember when him and Chizuru were hiding in his kitchen while Mami opened the door?
Yep.
And she questions if it was Ruka's bag. She even questions if she really is Kazuya's girlfriend, seeing how off he was acting. And she says, would he really go out with that nutcase?
Damn.
Dude, Mami was on fire for this episode. But she's not quite convinced about the bag being for Ruka. She points out that it was a designer bag, and it kind of seemed like it was more for an adult woman rather than a teen. Remember, Chizuru's 20 now, or 21, whatever they said it was. I think it's 20. And Ruka is a teen. So kind of an age difference there. And then boom, enter Chizuru. She's waiting to get on the train. Immediately, Mami notices her purse. Damn. So now she knows that it's Chizuru's purse that was at Kazuya's apartment. That part had me sitting with my hands over my mouth, just shocked.
I was like, oh shit! Oh shit!
Like, we already had so much drama inside of this karaoke place that I wasn't expecting them to add a little cherry on top with this bag fiasco.
Yes.
This episode took all the main characters and drugged them all into some shit, okay? Mm-hmm. I don't know if I would consider this to be the peak of the season, but I think I can safely say it might be. Because now, now we have a lot of shit and we need to come down the hill from it. So I don't know if I'll call it the peak. We'll just have to see. But this is about midway in the season anyways. So we see a little flashback here to when she was talking to Kazuya's friend, meaning when Mami was talking to Kazuya's friend, finding out where he worked, and he's given her all sorts of information about how Kazuya's family all met Chizuru and so on and so forth, thus leading me to believe that she didn't go to the karaoke place to study, but to ask Kazuya's other co-workers questions, because the friend's like, look, I don't know much about Chizuru, but his co-workers might. But then that blew the fuck up because it turned out that Ruka was the other co-worker. So maybe Mami went there and got a little more information than she was prepared for.
Yep.
Maybe that's why when she was walking away from the building, her eyes were just kind of like in shock. I think she went there expecting one set of information and got a whole fucking bag of it.
She's Detective Conan in this shit.
I think she has a lot of ammunition now, which is dangerous.
Yes.
So back on the train, Mami's wondering if Chizuru was in the apartment when she saw the bag. So she starts questioning Chizuru about it, asking how long she's had it. Oh, you had it since early April or late April? And Chizuru's like, I guess early April. And at the train station, they both go off in their separate ways, right? And Mami's like, wait. And she asks Chizuru if she's still seeing Kazuya, to which Chizuru replies with a no. And I wonder why Chizuru said no. Cause Yeze said, oh, well, she said no because Mami said, I don't want you seeing Kazuya anymore. So like, did Chizuru say no cause she's scared to get her ass beat? Or did she like, I don't know how to word it, man. Because Chizuru is a stand-up kind of girl. Like, she always strikes me as the person that's just gonna say what the fuck she has to say and not have to lie about it. Why does she lie right here?
Well, because Mami knows that she's a rent-a-girlfriend and she's basically talking to Kazuya during non-active hours.
Okay.
So she can easily report that.
I had that idea too, but I wasn't sure if that was a thing that could happen. So you're thinking Chizuru's just trying to save her job right here.
Yes.
I slightly thought the same thing whenever I was processing it. So then they just show Mami's face and she looks crazy, bro. I guess this is because she knows Chizuru is lying about not seeing Kazuya. Mm-hmm. And she goes, okay, got it. And then walks away. And this leaves Chizuru confused. And Chizuru's like, was this a coincidence? And then boom, credit roll. That's how they basically end the episode. And then we dive into the after credits. Mami's kind of just sitting there looking at her laptop. This is like another cherry on top of the cherry. That's how crazy this episode was.
2 cherries on on top.
2 cherries on top. Mommy's just looking at her laptop, thinking about how it was indeed Chizuru's bag, okay? She's like, why was her bag at his apartment? Did she forget? Who forgets their bag? Was she in the apartment back then? And then she's like, either way, they're way closer than rental girlfriend and client. So now, at this point, not only has Ruka pointed that out, but Chizuru has also pointed it out in the same episode. Oh, here we go. In my notes, super funny. I said, will she do something to get Chizuru fired? So yeah, I was thinking kind of in the same category as you for that. But she even thinks about Ruka, and she wonders if Kazuya is two-timing both of the girls, despite knowing that Ruka knows about Chizuru. So she goes on a site, it kind of looked like a Twitter for them, to do some snooping. And she had to unblock Ruka, which is weird, okay? Because when they met in the karaoke shop, it seemed like Mami had never met her before, but she had her blocked on this Twitter site, okay? That
was it Kazuya that she
No,
blocked?
it was Ruka. She unblocked Ruka. So that, to me, leads me to believe that she knows who Ruka is, because why would you have someone blocked if you don't know who they are? Because it was definitely Ruka in the profile picture for the account that she unblocked. That part threw me for a loop, and I can't quite understand why. Hopefully we get a little more on that. And then she can't see nothing on Ruka's profile because it was locked. So like, you know, you have to follow her. She has to follow you back to get all her content unlocked.
Yeah.
Then she sees a page for a sake shop, and she goes, oh, his family, huh? And then follows it. Remember, Kazuya's family owns a sake shop. She is on some devious shit, bro.
Yes.
This chick is about to cause some drama for this man.
Oh.
And quite honestly, he kind of does deserve it.
Yes.
Because he is leading everybody on at this point. But also, to the point I made to you and Yeze earlier, Mommy's acting like a fucking child because she dumped him to go date somebody else. So why, now that she's back single, or whatever the fuck her relationship status is, obviously it's not good if she spends all day worrying about Kazuya. Why is she worried about what the fuck he's doing?
I do not know.
Exactly. Your girl is crazy.
And I'm loving it.
Oh my god.
Ba-da-bum-bum-bum. I'm loving it.
So, after all that, obviously you're gonna get the next episode preview. This one was hard for me to decipher what's gonna be happening. It looked like he was going to rent Chizuru again because he was on some kind of website, and it looked like I saw Chizuru's profile. I think it was the Rent-A-Girlfriend website, but like aside from that, I can't really tell what's about to happen.
Yeah, he went on the Rent-A-Girlfriend site.
Okay.
I don't know.
So we know he's gonna try to rent her to maybe, I can't say to clear shit up because he doesn't know that Mami ran into Chizuru at this point. So why is he renting her? Just, you know, keeping up with his thing that he said that he was gonna help her?
I don't know.
And you know,
it was like so fucking confused because it felt like he wanted to rent her, but he didn't. Kind of like with the whole situation of adding her private contact.
Right. Here's the
I'm
thing,
getting
though.
that vibe.
We fucking know he's gonna rent her, and then we know she's gonna bring up the fact that she ran into Mami and Mami was asking questions.
Uh-oh.
So I'm a little excited to get that. And like, you hear some people talking in the background. It seemed like Ruka and Mami were asking Kazuya a question about something Chizuru might have said about them. And then he says they ran away, or she ran away. So I don't know what the fuck that was about either. But we do know that the title will be Youth and Girlfriend. So we know Ruka's gonna be in the episode because anytime it says girlfriend, she's in the episode. And
What would be youth?
Youth, exactly. Somebody young?
I think of a fucking guy Sensei or Rock Lee from Naruto.
Youth and Girlfriend. After that episode, I watched that part, like the very end, the next episode preview, a couple of times to try and decipher it or put something to it, and I really can't. I just cannot, for the life of me, say what I think is going to happen in the next episode, and this kind of gets me excited.
Unless, new girl comes.
I'm kind of hoping they do introduce the new girl.
She's like, I want to rent Chizuru, but, this chick.
Let's
check her out.
I'm gonna safely say that he's gonna rent Chizuru in the next episode, because that gives us a chance to like have her be like, hey, I ran into Mami and she was asking me all kind of questions about, am I seeing you, blah, blah, blah. Or she might pull the classic Chizuru and be like, look, slack off on renting me because Mommy's doing some digging.
Or he's gonna rent Chizuru and then then like Chizuru's just gonna tell her boss or whatever who manages Rent-A-Girlfriend, hey, I can't make it. Can you replace me with somebody else? And bam, introduce new girl.
The new girl's a rental girlfriend?
I do not know.
I feel like that would be the easiest way to introduce another girl character instead of just, having her pop up randomly and be like, hey!
Almost every girl is a Rent-A-Girlfriend except for Mami.
Except for Mami. No, Ruka's not a Rent-A-Girlfriend, huh?
Yeah, she quit.
Yeah, she was probably ass at it. So that's the episode, man. It was kind of a thick one.
Yes.
Man, I was on the fence for ratings, I was, kind of at a solid 6, but I think because this episode does such a good job of putting every character into a pile of shit, now I'm excited to see the rest of the season unfold and maybe see how some of it either gets resolved or blows up, that I think I'm going to give this episode a 7.
All right. Well, would have been a 10 out of 10 for me if we would have seen some fucking hands being thrown, hair being pulled, somebody getting shanked, but I'm going to put it at an 8 out of 10.
Okay. I mean, so this was an up there episode.
Like, the reason why is because it actually made me react to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it gave me a lot to think about, which was nice, other than just, oh, he got drunk, he protected Chizuru, whoop-de-doo. You know what I'm saying? This gave almost every character a side story. It's all side stories, but it almost can also all be combined into one. It all ties into that one guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I'm gonna
trash ass
Kazuya. And I'm gonna say this again. I'll say this a million times. This literally could all be fucking avoided if he would grow some nuts, tell Ruka to fuck off, like, look, I'm not interested in you, tell Mami to fuck off, like, what I do is not none of your business because you broke up with me, and then fucking just tell Chizuru, I like you, bitch. Okay?
Mami, he would tell that, and then Mami would just be like, come on, fuck on.
Well, for old times, for old times' sakes, I guess I will. I mean, how do you pass that up?
We already know Mami is a savage.
That's true, man. Good God. I did not expect that in this episode at all.
Ruka was throwing them hits, but Mami was like, you know what, bitch, full counter.
It was just the way that, like, Mami sat there. She let Ruka blow up, and Ruka was saying all kind of nasty shit. Mami didn't say a word. She never once tried to interrupt her. She was just like, okay. She's like, you're done? Then why does he still need a rental girlfriend if he's got you?
Oh, shit.
Fucking literally the burn of the century, man. I can't believe that happened. But like I said, that's what made this episode so good. Mami's savagery and the fact that she now put everybody into a little pile of shit and they have to get their way out of it.
Yep.
So hopefully this Friday, the episode's popping.
Yep, and we probably have like at least 4 episodes left.
This is episode 7 of the show, so should be 5 after this if it's a 12 episode season. We're getting there,
Hopefully.
Boys and girls.
We're getting there. And of course, you know what happens after that.
Old Chainsaw Man.
Yep.
I hope it's good, man. I hope it's not dog shit.
Chainsaw Man?
Yeah.
Well, people in the manga are hyping it up.
People do hype up the manga. This is what I said at work. I said, if Rent-A-Girlfriend this season ends on a big cliffhanger, I am not waiting any longer. I'm reading the fucking manga.
I'm reading it.
I have to know what happens at this point, man.
No, just sit silent. Okay, next time we're going to be reading the chapter from the manga and we're going to be doing a review.
We'll review each chapter. Because we just can't wait for season 3 anymore. Hey, you never know. So that's going to pretty much do it for this week's episode. Thank you guys for listening, tuning in, commenting, subscribing, wherever you're intaking this podcast from. We thank you. And until the next time, take it easy and so long, everybody.
Sayonara.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to visit our website at www.animag.org. See you next time.